Hello and welcome to the Seattle Sound. I'm Lily Herrier. The Seahawks travel to Arizona this Thursday to take on the Cardinals in an NFC West divisional matchup. There were a few ups and downs during the game for the Seahawks, and Zach Smolin is live in Glendale, Arizona to tell us about it. Zach?
Well, that's right, Lily, and although the scoreboard said that the Seattle Seahawks won the game 22-16, they did suffer a big loss in the third quarter, but we'll get back to that later. The Seattle Seahawks improved to 6-3 on the season with this victory, keeping pace with the division-leading Los Angeles Rams, who are 7-2 on the year. Unfortunately for the Arizona Cardinals, they dropped to 4-5 on the year, below 500 for the first time this season, and definitely a disappointment for Bruce Arians and his squad. Now, Russell Wilson had a fantastic game, going 22 for 32 for 238 yards in the air and a pair of touchdowns to Jimmy Graham. And Adrian Peterson, 29 yards on just 21 carries and a fumble. So right now we're going to take a look at some of those plays that added up to those numbers. First quarter, Russell Wilson floats one into the end zone for Jimmy Graham, the first touchdown of the game, putting Seattle ahead early with 5:07 to go in the first quarter. In the second quarter, starting off, Drew Stanton, play action, finding Jermaine Gresham in the flat. He crosses the 10, goes through a bunch of Seattle defenders into pay dirt for a touchdown, knotting the game up 7-7. Deep in their own end, down by the entire Seattle defense is Adrian Peterson. That's 2 points for Seattle, 9-7, the Seahawks lead. Later in the third quarter, Stanton drops back, fires a strike to John Brown, and he's brought down by Richard Sherman, but unfortunately Sherman is the one that would stay down. He would not return to the game. Russell Wilson, fourth quarter, Jimmy Graham uses all his height, boxing him out, his new best friend right there, second touchdown of the game, and that would put Seattle ahead for good, 22-16, as Andre Ellington would put one in for Arizona with only 2 seconds to go, Lily, and that is all that she wrote for the Seattle victory. Lily?
Zach, we all saw Sherman go down there in the highlight. Any updates on his status?
Yeah, Lily, unfortunately with that hit on John Brown, Richard Sherman did rupture his Achilles tendon there, and he will be out for the rest of the season. Now, that is definitely going to be a major hit for Seattle's defense and the Legion of Boom. However, they are looking to a ex-member of the Legion of Boom, cornerback Byron Maxwell, who was recently cut by the Philadelphia Eagles, to possibly take his role. Now, there's no telling how Maxwell exactly will fill those shoes of Richard Sherman, but it is looking up as he did play for the team during their Super Bowl run just a few years ago, Lily. Reporting live from Glendale, Arizona for the Seattle Sound, I'm Zach Smolin.
Thanks, Zach. Coming up, we'll speak to a local man with insomnia who solves it with decaf Starbucks. Stay with us.
That was a lame ending. I'm sorry. Thanks. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Seattle Sound. I'm Lily Herrier. The Seahawks travel to Arizona this Thursday to take on the Cardinals in an NFC West divisional matchup. There were a few ups and downs during the game for the Seahawks, and Zach Smolin is live in Glendale, Arizona to tell us about it. Zach?
Thank you, Lily. I'm here outside of the University of Phoenix Stadium where, while the scoreboard said that the Seattle Seahawks won 22-16, they did suffer a big loss during the third quarter, but we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. What a victory it was for the Seattle Seahawks, winning, improving their record to 6-3 on the year, keeping pace with those Los Angeles Rams, leading the division with a 7-2 record, and unfortunately for the Arizona Cardinals, dropping below 500 on the year to 4-5 on the season. Now, Russell Wilson had an incredible game for the Seahawks, going 22 for 32 for 238 yards in the air and a pair of touchdowns to tight end Jimmy Graham. And unfortunately for Adrian Peterson, only 29 yards on 21 carries and a fumble. He was also brought down for his safety during the game. And now we're going to take a look at some of those highlights that added up to those numbers. First quarter, Russell Wilson finding Jimmy Graham, using his height there in the end zone, 7-0. Seattle takes flight with the early lead against the division rival right there. Beginning of the second quarter, play fake right there to Andre Ellington, over to Jermaine Gresham in the flat, beats a bunch of Seattle defenders with that block right there, all knotted up at 7. Deep in their own end, Adrian Peterson gets stuffed by the entire Seattle defense. He's brought down. That's 2 points right there for the Seahawks. 9-7 Seattle leads. Third quarter, Drew Stanton dropping back. Plenty of time, fires a strike to John Brown, brought down by Richard Sherman. Unfortunately, Sherman is the one that would stay down on the play. He would not return. Later in the game, Wilson again to Jimmy Graham, using his height, boxing out 22-10, the score right there. That will be what puts Seattle in the lead for good, as the Arizona Cardinals would score a touchdown too late in the game to bring it to 22-16. But that, of course, is all she wrote, as Seattle would take that game 22-16. Lily?
Zach, we all saw Sherman go down there in the highlight. Any updates on his status?
Yeah, Lily, unfortunately, Richard Sherman did rupture his Achilles tendon with that tackle on John Brown there in the third quarter. It was a rough hit for the Seattle defense, as he is the anchor of that legendary Legion of Boom squad. However, Byron Maxwell, an ex-Legion of Boom member who was recently cut by the Philadelphia Eagles, is being looked at currently to fill in that role as the right side cornerback for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Lily, there's no telling exactly how well Maxwell will play. He's been on the free agent waiver wire for a little while, but I think that he'll fit in perfectly in his old role, playing for his old team, the Seattle Seahawks. Lily, reporting live in front of Glendale, Arizona's University of Phoenix Stadium for the Seattle Sound, I'm Zach Smolin.
Thanks, Zach. Coming up, we'll speak with a local man who has insomnia and how he solves it with decaf Starbucks. Stay with us.
All right, very nice job.